all kinds of fun stuff.
Let's go. Let's get a quick hitter Monday episode. Apparently today's college football national championship. That's news to me because here I am watching NBA all the time.
What do you know about college football, man? Because we got a lot to talk about today, right? First of all, if I sound a little different, guys, I don't feel too well today, but we do this shit every day. So, Andrew's like, oh, just whenever you're ready, we'll roll on. So, if my voice sounds a little different, I apologize for that. But yeah, I'm feeling a little under the weather today. But we got Ja's crazy block, Klay's return. That's in your NBA. You got the Lakers playing, decent ball, and LeBron playing at an extremely high level. I'm sure you're going to want to continue to talk about that. We had an amazingly crazy NFL weekend that ended this morning. I mean, after, basically carried into midnight, that Raider game with the tie. I mean, we could talk about that.
Your
we can talk about college football.
Kind of almost, and I didn't watch the game, Cage, but they said if they didn't call the timeout.
So I'll explain it to you if you like. Please. So guys, by the way, the listeners of the show, you were ahead of the curve on this tie possible because this was my crazy brain coming up with this, right? Days before that the weekend happened.
Are you clicking something?
No.
Okay.
Can you hear something? Is it
only when the mic hits the zipper? I've never seen you in a half zip or a full zip jacket ever. I thought you only wear t-shirts. I legit only thought you wore t-shirts and suits.
When you get the chills and stuff, you got to put on a sweatshirt. But, what is an episode without you critiquing my outfit? Even when I'm feeling bad, you kick me while I'm down. So, but in any event, let me know if it's still banging.
That looks like you had a good year. You must have treated yourself to a nice little Patagonia wool fleece.
I don't think it is Patagonia. I think it's like Amazon Basics. I think it's like,
even better. Like treat yourself.
Treat yourself, exactly. No, yeah, I mean, we're talking about football, right? And no one really gave it too much credence because nobody thought the Colts were going to lose to the Jaguars, and then all of a sudden the Jaguars lost. But yeah, coming into last night's game, the Steelers got in as long as it wasn't a tie. It was a tie. Both the Chargers and the Raiders got in. And I say what you want about during the game. It didn't look like they were playing for a tie during the game. The teams were looking to win. Each team was looking to do what they were doing. And I'll get to why in a second, right? Obviously both of those teams wanted to win the game.
Football's not really a sport, Cage. You can how soccer, you watch soccer and you're like, these two teams are playing for a tie.
Yeah.
Football's a really tough sport to play for a tie.
Well, listen, like I said, they could just hit down the ball, take a knee, and then run the clock, punt the ball, take a knee. It would be horrible. You know what I mean?
That would be pretty awkward. That would be awkward for the players.
It would be like a fixed thing, So, but here's where it gets fun, and I don't know that we'll ever get an answer to whether this is true. Some of the stuff afterwards looked like it. So, when it went to overtime, and a tie became a real possibility on it. It looked the Raiders got the ball back, and so each team had the ball. The Raiders got the ball back. Each team kicked a field goal. Neither of these teams, when it's like a marathon like this, there's no defense. The offense is just doing whatever they want you. So, I mean, just one of the most amazing drives. If you haven't watched it, take a look at the video of the Chargers. San Diego, LA. So the Chargers drive where, I think it was like 2 minutes long, 78 yards or so. I think Herbert picked up 4, 5, 11 fourth downs. I mean, it's just crazy. Just every it was like 2nd and 10, 3rd and 10. They were getting pressure, and then 4th and 10 or 4th and 11, and boom, they would pick it up every single time. It was just amazing. How they were able to convert. And it was a real nail biter. It was like a very, like you're watching it, you could feel like, oh wow, like this is crazy stuff. Anyway, it gets down to the last couple of minutes of the game, and the Raiders have the ball, and they are playing cautiously. Both teams have 2 timeouts in the overtime. Neither of them have used any of them yet. They're playing cautiously, and the Raiders start to move the ball, and they move it across midfield. And there's, 2-3 minutes left in the game. Then they move it to about the 40-yard line, right? And there's 2 minutes left in the game. So in reality, what could happen here without making it look like a tie, because we're at the 40, is the Raiders could just run the ball into the middle of the line 3 times, 40 seconds basically for each one, the same as like taking a knee without actually taking a knee, and it's over, and it's a tie. All right? at one point it was, I'm pretty sure it was 2nd and 4, 3rd and 4. San Diego still has their 2 timeouts, and they take one, even though it really looked like the Raiders were just running the ball to run the clock out and not looking to pick up a first down. And I think that was because once it got to 3rd down, by taking that timeout, if San Diego stopped them, right, at like the 38-yard line or 36-yard, whatever it was, San Diego could force the Raiders to punt, right? Or try a really long field goal, miss,
but best
and
case
give the
scenario,
ball.
They punt and you get the ball in like the 5-yard line with like less than a minute to go anyway, and you are probably going to take a knee and
right, which is a tie anyway. And you're in, or thinking the other way, they think it's like a 35-yard line, right? If they take the timeouts, and I guarantee this is what their coach was thinking, Staley was thinking, it's 34, 35 seconds left in the game. You take the timeouts and you stop the Raiders. The Raiders try a field goal from the like mid-50s. You know what I mean? It'll be like a 50-something yard field goal, right? Because they're at like the 35-yard line or something like that, right? 36. It would be like a 53, 50. Now, the Raiders kicker is good, but he had, during the game, snuck a couple right by the goalpost. So I'm sure what they're thinking, the Chargers, is, all right, they may take a long field goal to win and miss. And then we get the ball back at like the 40-yard line, 30 seconds left. Maybe we throw 1 or 2 passes and we're in field goal range ourselves to win. I guarantee that's what he was thinking. No one will ever say that.
But you win even if it's a tie.
So winning, so seeding matters. So here's where it goes, right? So look at what happens then. So they take a timeout. The Raiders hand the ball to Jacobs, and he picks up the first down. He gets like 6 yards, and now they're at the 29-yard line. Doesn't matter. It's first down now, so it doesn't matter that the Chargers have 1 timeout. The Raiders take it down to 3 seconds, kick a field goal, and win. And there's video out there. I mean, there's a bunch of them. Justin Herbert, he says, "I never wanted a tie anymore in my life. I've never wanted a tie so much in my life." He is a sponsor for a clothing company, Justin Herbert. So, they should make ties and use that as an advertisement. Just a little genius idea from me. So, but in any event, I saw Austin Eckler, and I forget who it was from the Raiders. Maybe the Raiders fullback. They meet at like the 50-yard line, and Eckler's like, "Were you guys just trying to run the clock out?" And he's like, "Yeah." Why'd you take the time out? Like you could see the players like talking. We were going to play for a tie, but here's why it matters: the Raiders win instead of a tie, which would have put the Raiders at the 7 seed, and they would have to play Kansas City, I think, right? Because Kansas City's the 2 seed, right? Now they actually jumped over New England. They're the 5 seed, and they play Cincinnati now. Much easier first week for the Raiders by winning. Okay. I mean, it's still a touchdown underdog, which, by the way, a little early on our Whatnot show, but I'll be picking the Raiders in that one. Bengals might win, but they're not a touchdown.
Basically a rookie quarterback and a rookie wide receiver.
With the Raiders, I mean, their defensive line, I've never seen them play the way that they played last night against the Chargers team. They were, maybe the Chargers offensive line is just not that good, but they looked like they were all Pro Bowlers.
Okay, Max Crosby honestly, is. Man, if I've learned nothing, and this has been forget like the star power of these teams. Football's won in the trenches, offensive lines, defensive lines. If I've learned nothing else, that to me was like the cardinal rule someone once told me, and I've stuck to that.
Let me ask you something. Do the Eagles have a chance to upset Tom Brady? And if they do, what is that? Brady. What is it? Good. So talk to me about that, because that's your Eagles, man. Let me hear it.
It's obviously biased, but we do own the Eagles. I mean, we do own Brady. Now, that was Big D, Nicky Foles, who was at the helm, but I don't think that this Bucs team has looked very good, Cage. I honestly didn't think that they were going to beat Carolina unless they had blind man Sam Darnold out there throwing. Like, I don't think these last 2 weeks with the Jets and Carolina, I think they're kind of like limping into the season. Also, there was a little bit of like Tom Brady refused to come out of the game because he wanted to get Gronk his incentives. Did you see something like that?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that makes sense. We were talking about the incentives and stuff, right?
But think about a team that's the last few weeks they're focusing on Antonio Brown drama, getting their players incentives.
Oh, yeah.
How much are they motivated versus a team like the Eagles who started out terribly, rookie coach, a quarterback with a chip on his shoulder, a young team, a defense that's playing tough? That's not necessarily the team you want to meet when you're I
agree. And the Bucs they're the champs, which is great because, you always have in the back pocket. If we don't win, we won last year. It's okay to not have to. We don't have to win every year. So yeah, they might not be playing with the eye of the tiger. It's like Rocky coming into Rocky 3, man. You know, Clubber Lang had the eye of the tiger, and Rocky didn't anymore. So I get it, but yeah, it's drama, man. It's drama over in Tampa Bay.
I like what NFL did with the 17-game season. It created this whole or 18, I guess, a week season. They created this all these interesting scenarios that I don't remember playing out in previous years.
Well, it's also because they extended the playoffs now this year to 7. Right, so 7 teams get in instead of just 6. It was previously 6. 2 teams got a bye, and 4 played in the wild card weekend. The 2 division winners, the 2 wild cards. So there are 4 divisions. They actually expanded it to 7 and gave 1 team a bye. So that's why it's a little more drama. You actually have 2 more playoff teams, 1 in each conference. So yeah, that definitely expanding the playoffs will do that. It keeps more teams alive. It means that the games are meaningful for everybody down the stretch usually. And think about all the drama that the Colts, the Steelers, the Chargers, the Raiders, just crazy stuff though. The Ravens. It's fun stuff.
It was a fun Sunday. It was a fun.
But I will tell you this though, and also, unless I'm mistaken, because of the expansion of this, I think there's a Monday night game in the playoffs, which I've never seen. I think the Rams-Cardinals. Take a look at that for me. I think the Rams-Cardinals play on Monday night.
Interesting division game, huh? Basically a division game.
Yeah. I think the Rams play the Cardinals Monday. Take a look for me. I think the Raiders play on Saturday. I think you get like a normal nationally televised.
That Raiders line's already coming down. It's already Bengals -6, not -7, which is that's a big deal.
So, but am I right? Is the game on Monday? So, I mean, like, you usually don't get that in the playoffs. You had in the 6-team, per conference and 2 off, you had 4 wild card, which made for 2 games Saturday, 2 games Sunday. Nice and easy. But now you got an extra game. You throw it in on Monday. Hey, now. Gotta love it.
Gage, I'll tell you, man, this is first glance, just looking right down the board. I'm going to bet every single underdog because they look juicy. They look really, really
well. I mean, the Cowboys are going to lose. The Cowboys are going to lose. The Niners are going to beat the Cowboys.
The 49ers?
Yeah.
Dude, Debo
the Niners are going to beat
I love how Debo plays.
So you know what's funny?
If Garoppolo wasn't an Abercrombie and Fitch model and actually a real quarterback, they would be a good team.
Do you remember this? Maybe you won't. Maybe you pull it up on YouTube. But somebody made a joke in one of our chats about how Debo he does everything. He should kick. He does everything but kick for the team. Do you remember when Chad Ochocinco played?
Yep.
So Chad Johnson. Do you remember when he kicked an extra point?
Did he do that?
You got to pull the video up of him, Chad Ochocinco, kicking. He, as a soccer guy, when you watch that, I think you'll be impressed because he didn't just let me kick it and like to hold it. It was legit. If you could find that, it'd be funny. But yeah, Debo is amazing, man. Debo is an amazing talent. I had him. I drafted him. And, I complained. I finished 3rd in our fantasy league this year. It sucks. One win away from getting to the finals. Pull up the Chad Johnson. Look at this. And it's a funny video, too, because, they show the coaches. We're going to let Chad kick the extra point. We're going to let Chad kick it. We're going to let Ochocinco kick it. And watch what he does.
This is blurry, right?
And it's 6-3, by the way. It's against the Patriots.
Down the middle.
Down the middle.
Terrible.
And not even a question. Good by 20 yards. I mean, good for that guy. So that was what I thought of when somebody was like, yeah, Debo should kick.
That's good form.
Yeah, good. I told you, as a soccer guy, there you go. Chad Ochocinco, very underappreciated player there. But so let me pivot another way. So Debo, I drafted Debo late in fantasy. I think I got him like the 7th round, which is huge for me because with Chris Carson getting injured and Michael Thomas in my 6th round, I drafted Michael Thomas before Debo, and Thomas didn't even play. I needed somebody from the later rounds to step up, and Debo definitely did that. Let me pivot for a second because we're talking about the expansion of the league. You think it's TV? You think it's advertising money? You think the whole deal? Because 1981, long time ago, I was alive. A lot of you listening weren't. Some of you were. In 1981, this day in 1981, so we're talking 41 years ago, this day, today, in the NFL was the catch. So Joe Montana, it's banging like crazy? Sorry, brother.
Not like crazy, dude. It's not like crazy. It's not even your fault.
So what do you call it? So Dwight Clark, the catch, That was in the NFC Championship game, January 10th of 1981. Okay. So think about that, right? We just finished the regular season, right? We have weeks of playoffs, wild card, divisional round, week off, Super Bowl. This would be, you'd be done now. After today, with that catch, you had two teams left. You know, you had the Super Bowl, and it was over. So I don't know if it's a good thing, bad thing. I mean, there are domes, and Super Bowl is always played usually in like a warm weather stadium anyway. But the NFL season is now expanding, extending way into February with the Super Bowl. And even now this year with an extra week. What do you think about that? Is it because of TV? You mind it?
You're making money. It's a business, man. When all of these sports started, we forget. Like, I always think back to like stories when these guys were kind of like plumbers and had part-time jobs and doing other stuff. We forget about that. Now it's big business. Now every game, Cage, you look good, man. Honestly, your performance on you're muted right now, but your performance.
I don't want to make noise. I don't want to make noise. I'm sorry. I'm the worst.
Your performance on this episode is better than Michael Jordan's flu game. I'm willing to say you've been going for like 15 minutes and you've just pop, rattling amazing stuff off.
Oh, there's a lot of cool stuff, man. We had a great sports weekend, and we didn't even get to college football.
When I would say, Cage, I was like this.
The dogs. You were like, yeah. Well, listen, trust me. This is, I'm hot. And here's the other thing, guys. Right. So I don't know if you noticed. I mean, I don't feel well, but if anybody ever wondered if this lunacy, this complete energy, just boom, 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 is because of the caffeine, because of the soda, I have not had a sip of soda today. I'm going on about 24 hours now without any soda, which I have a headache. I will tell you guys that.
In my opinion. Incredible gratitude and love for his family and what he does, and your love of sport and speculation and discussing sport. I think it's those two. You're a hugely grateful person. I've never heard you complain or whine or bitch or moan about anybody.
Nope.
And you love your family. That's your number one. Which, by the way, we should talk more about that. But and then you love speculation. You love sports. You love.
I like being right.
Yeah.
I like being right. Don't we all, right? So we got that. We want to talk a little about college football because that'll roll nicely into my play. So I know you don't care, but I will leave you with the NBA.
This is what I know from college football. SEC is the best.
It's about to start.
SEC is the best. Alabama is always in there. And then it's either Clemson, Georgia, or someone else.
Well, Nick Saban's won 6 championships, 1 with LSU, and 5 in the last 12 years with Alabama. He's now going for his 7th in 13 years with Alabama. And something like, I think it's 8 or 10 or something like that of the 16 are SEC. The SEC it's just dominant, which is I don't think it's the best thing in the world for sports. But today's game, interesting.
Because 2 SEC teams.
I think it's the 5th time that 2 teams ranked in the top 5 are rematching each other in a national championship game. In the prior 4, the team that lost the first game won by an average of 3 touchdowns.
Team that lost the first game. So Georgia won the first game. I think Alabama won the second game.
Alabama won the first. They only played once. They played in the SEC championship game this year, and Alabama beat Georgia. So what everybody is saying is that, history speaks. Georgia is going to win tonight. And I think Georgia is the better team. Alabama has the better star players. They have the Heisman Trophy winner, Bryce Young, at quarterback. They have a better wide receiver. They have a better defensive end, who, by the way, is from Georgia. Maybe a linebacker. I don't know. They play him all over the place. But he was a little undersized, and Georgia didn't, recruit him. So he's got a little chip on his shoulder today. But
undersized. I watched the Michigan-Georgia game, highlights of it. It looked like professional athletes versus high school.
They're big. They're big. But what's funny is their quarterback's 5'11". And guys, if you don't know the mailman's story, the 4th, we're going to call him the mailman. He stole his nickname from Karl Malone, and now the mailman. We have mailmen listening to us. It's been a theme for the last week, right? If you don't know his story, take a look at it, because this is a kid who grew up and starting from the age of like 3 years old said, I want to play quarterback for Georgia. And he walked on at Georgia, I think in 2017. And here we are in 2022, a lengthy story. Was so far down the depth chart and, was told by the coaches, you're never really going to be able to play, that he went to junior college so that he could play and show people that he could play and throw the ball around. Came back with a scholarship, I think in 2019 to Georgia. but was, again, so far down the depth charts behind like Jake Fromm of the Giants madness this weekend, and several other quarterbacks. Last year, he got in and started about half the games. This year came in, I think in the first game, and basically just never gave up the reins after last year. And I mean, real good. He just does not play well against Alabama. 5 touchdowns, 5 interceptions against Bama. Everybody else, I think he has like 4 interceptions or 6 interceptions against everybody else in his career, and Bama, he's got 5. So, Bama gives him fits. We'll see whether or not he plays well tonight. The team is better. This is not a kid who's built for shootouts. He's built for more game management. And if they are better with the clock, Georgia, they run the ball, and they contain and get some pressure on Bryce Young, Georgia should win this game. As a matter of fact, I mean, I don't know. I think it actually just started, but if it hadn't started, the line is 2.5. I love Bama. It's tough to bet against Bama. They just show up big time in these big games. It's tough to get them against Nick Saban. But I saw like plus 175 for Georgia -6. One of those alternate spreads. I was liking that. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. By the time you're listening to this, the game's over, and I might sound like an idiot. But so you can watch that game before we get into the NBA, college football.
You're on fire.
Recruiting classes are starting up now, right? And then they start again in February, where recruits sign the class of 2022. There are 10 colleges, 10 schools, 10 universities that have multiple top 50 recruits. You want to just throw out some names of colleges you think are on that list?
Top 50 recruits.
Yeah, at least 2 top 50 recruits.
Alabama,
Ohio State, Georgia.
Clemson now, but Clemson when they first started, they didn't get the best.
So you got them. Yeah, all the right names.
USC used to get
USC. USC's on there. Well done. So Georgia, Bama, Texas A&M.
Forget about the U. If you guys are ever bored, watch the U 30 for 30. Maybe the best documentary ever made.
North Carolina, LSU, Penn State, Clemson, Ohio State. That's 9 of the 10.
North Carolina?
Yeah, UNC. That was the one that surprised me until I saw this one. So that's 9. North Carolina is a Division I school. Maybe they have a couple defensive backs, whatever it may be that committed to them. But all the names are the ones you'd expect to see on there, except for number 10. Do you know who number 10 is that has two top 50 recruits?
Probably like someone Lane Kiffin coaches.
Jackson State University, including the number one recruit from this year's high school class, a 2-way player.
Oh, Deion.
Because they're coached by Deion Sanders. And that is my play today, guys, right? So a kid, Hunter, who wants to play both ways, why not go play for Deion? The NIL rules, the deals with college players, Barstool getting involved, Barstool having a Deion Sanders, show. It's changing the way that the college athletic programs do business. And somebody like Coach Prime is able to get 2 of the top 50 recruits to commit. One of them, the number 1 guy, was committed to Florida State, his alma mater. And he got him to flip and come to Jackson State, which is an impressive thing. Deion Sanders, my play today. Why? Amazing player, both sides of the ball, has remained relevant. We've talked about him before. I said Ian liked that he was like stealing pizzas in commercials, right? I saw after I came up with the play and I'm watching TV, I see he's on an Aflac commercial, Coach Prime, with Nick Saban. The greatest college football coach ever, by some accounts, is now Coach Saban and Coach Prime for Aflac. He took his team to the SWAC championship. They lost in the Celebration Bowl to, I think it was South Carolina State. But talk about being relevant, talk about being in the news, talk about people love the guy. Not many people have 2 awesome nicknames. It's tough enough to get 1. Neon, Deion, and Prime Time. When you have 2 awesome nicknames, people are going to love you forever. So here's the card that I like, guys. And I don't own one of these. I will not buy one immediately because I don't want to be competing with you guys. But I like the 1989 score, Deion Sanders, PSA 10. There was also Barry Sanders in this. The 89 score was one of those sets that I compare to your 2012 Prism. I compare it to your 1986 Fleer for basketball. It was a groundbreaking football set with rookies Aikman, Michael Irvin, Chris Carter, Deion, and Barry Sanders. I mean, just an amazing set with awesome colors, colorful borders. The green one for both Barry Sanders and Deion Sanders. I have a Barry. I don't own a Deion. Some people like the Topps traded. The score was a legit set. The traded it came after. I consider the score a significantly better card. It sells for a lot more. But here's where it goes. During the highs, right? If you go and guys, I mean, you can search wherever you want on these things. You can search on Alt. Andrew likes to use that. You can search on Card Ladder. If you want to have a free account on PWCC, right? What are you pulling up there?
The 1989 score.
89 score. Deion. Yep. So how old is that? I mean, those are probably pretty old. What you're looking at there. So I'll give you guys. Yes, I'll give you guys the most recent. So back in February and March of this year, I go right to PWCC's auction archives because there's one of these in every one of PWCC's auctions. So I can see month over month what they've sold for, right? And if you go back a year ago, February of 2021, when everything was exploding and everything was going up, right? At its high, one of these sold for $1,800, right? One sold for $1,625. A lot of 10 sold for $15,000. Most recently, in the last auction PWCC, $625. And you see here they are available. Buy it now or best offer in the sevens. I think you could probably find somebody and sell you one of these for $500. You're talking about now 1/3 of where it was, and all he's done is make himself more relevant during that time period. Right? The card probably got ahead of itself, like most cards did. But this is not somebody who the card came down because he's Michael Porter Jr. and you don't think he's going to be playing again, right? Deion has cemented his legacy, two-sport player, came very close in the 90s to playing both sports in the same day. His team didn't let him, but he wanted to play baseball and football in the same day. So, I mean, pretty crazy. But I love the guy. Real flashy, real great name. Not a lot of people hate him. You know what I mean? Like, I've never really heard people say anything terrible about him. And with these recruiting things, you see a lot of people coming out, a lot of sports guys coming out saying, look, give Deion his credit. Also, Jackson State, historically black college and university. So he's got that going for him as well. He's bringing culture into the equation and, trying to make it, relevant there at Jackson State. And I mean, I can't really even say anything bad about the guy. You know what I mean? I watched him play. I think
he might be the most culturally relevant, like, Hall of Famer next to Shaq. Like, there's who else has
right. Shaq's a good comparison, by the way, very good comparison, because I mean they've remained not just relevant but in your face after their career. Like, you know what I mean? It's a very good comparison.
For their community, they do stuff to build up the that's pretty cool because a lot of professional athletes they make their money and they do their thing and you see them on yachts. A lot of them do commercials, but like to do all of that, but also do the community set thing that you just talked about, that's admirable. You win fans over and you become more and more and more popular. That I love the play. I love Deion, man. Prime time.
Neon Deion. I mean, there are many of his cards. If you wanted to spend a little bit less, you get the 89 Topps traded. Some people like that better because it's an action photo. I think he's actually catching a punt and about to return a punt, whereas the I kind of like. If you take a look at the 89 score, it's so 89. It's funny. He's got the Falcons hat on, and you can't believe that's Deion. He's got the 80s look. He looks a little different.
This is a little bittersweet, but if any of my high school friends, Timmy, Jimmy, if any of you guys are listening, you'll know. We had a buddy who, Timmy. You know that kid that like at 12, he looked like he was 17 athletically. He just grew faster than everybody. So we had this kid. His name was Mike Mitchell. He was a friend, and he was like a 3-star athlete at 12 years old. And he was so good, and he was so much better than everybody at everything. Everyone just called him Primetime. His dad called him Primetime. His dad was like his big. So I mean, he permeated. He passed away. Believe it or not, 30 years old, just passed away. I think it was he dealt with like lupus and stuff. But this kid was he just grew up faster than everybody else. And then obviously people catch up to him, but Primetime.
It's a cool name. I'll take it,
Brian Flores getting fired is a disgrace.
Yeah, a lot of coaches getting fired, right?
Let me just give you guys 24 and 25 as his record. This is in a division where you have Bill Belichick and the Patriots, and you have the Buffalo Bills with Josh Allen.
And the powerhouse Jets.
He created a defense that was just a tough defense. Like I don't know where they ranked, but I know they were first in turnovers. Every single year they would turn the ball over. Then you come in and you get a rookie quarterback who was injured and had pretty terrible throwing mechanics, and now you see Tua's kind of coming into his own. And now Jalen Waddle's coming into his own. How do you fire a guy like that? That's a disgrace. When I saw that, I was like, dude, this Miami team was terrible. I think they were 0-16 a few years ago. Now they're 500 team in a really tough division, and they're trending up, and you fire. That was I was. And then you keep, who's the fish guy from the Giants?
The fish guy? Joe Judge?
Joe Judge, the fish starts smelling from the head.
Yes, Joe Judge.
Joe Judge.
We'll see if they kept. The GM is gone. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I know they said a couple weeks ago they were going to keep him. I mean, he hasn't been fired yet, but it's possible they still get rid of him. But, yeah, man, I mean, listen, that was a surprising one. You know
what's also funny? We have all these memes going around, like, Warriors, when they insert Klay back into the lineup, it's like that, that Iron Man stone or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
This was the same team that was before Durant. This is the same team. Oh, they have Wiggins on that lineup, but like, it's the same team they had before Durant. People forget how good this Warriors team was before, like the big origin days of the dynasty. If they could even return to 80%, man, this is going to be a problem. Klay looked good last night. He even dunked on someone, which is shocking because I don't even remember him dunking when he was healthy that much.
Same type of play he got hurt on, actually. Same kind of landing and stuff like that. It was, if you're a Klay guy, you kind of like held your breath.
I didn't like that. I was like, because Klay didn't dunk that much or drive that much before he was injured. So anyway, we're going to wrap it up. Cage, straight up, I've been impressed by you. I mean, 500.
Dude, talk about Ja's block. Give me some NBA. Give me 2 minutes of NBA. I know we got Klay, but talk about Ja. That was a sick block.
What do you want me to say? Go watch the highlight. That was one of the most incredible things I've ever seen.
And how about this? Is LeBron playing at a higher level than anybody in the NBA right now?
No.
I think he is.
Not anybody in the NBA.
Who has the most 30-point games in the NBA right now? LeBron. He's also got. I mean, I understand. Anybody can make Malik Monk look good.
I've been very high on LeBron the last few weeks. I just don't think he's been playing better than everybody else in the NBA. I think
who's playing better?
I think Ja's playing better.
All right. So top two.
I would say Ja and Steph for sure.
No, Steph's been cold lately. I'm talking recency bias here. Look at just pull up LeBron's last 10 games. I know you hated him. You won a Lemon Award for it and all that stuff. But
well, I would have said this too as a Kobe guy. I remember he went through a streak where he went like I think 20 games, 10 games. I don't remember the exact numbers, 40 or more points, but his team wasn't winning.
Yeah.
I'm a Kobe guy through and through, but that was not my favorite Kobe. My favorite Kobe was when he started grooming and helping these young talent mature, not when he was. Because, dude, okay, you could put up 40. Of course you could put up 40. Depends on how many shots. And are you impacting the game in other ways? So, yes, I think LeBron is playing at a very high level. I've said that. I've said that the last week. I said that yesterday on Collectible that the floor is in on his cards. I think his cards are going to keep going up. But I don't think you could blindly follow stats. I think you have to watch the game. I think Westbrook needs to find a different role on this team. I just do. I don't think that with Westbrook taking 12, 15 shots a game, it's going to work. But I want to let you go, man. It's been an episode. People got a ton of value. You brought it, man. I'm super impressed with you. Super impressed. I've been with 550 episodes. When I was sick, I was like, let's get this done with. You brought value after value after value. The only thing I would say is I think my play is kind of fire today. Like, I think this is one of the coolest plays I've had in a long time. And it goes back to I just sometimes just search random shit and I get random shit out.
Well, now I'm excited. What do we got?
So we see Lewis Hamilton cards going for high amounts, record-setting amounts. And Formula One in general, the whole market is through the roof. And ticket stubs are through the roof too. And yet I found, I think, one of the coolest ticket stubs that sold 1 month ago for $800. And it's the 2007 Formula One British Grand Prix, his home debut from 2007. Now, this is not going to be a high pop thing at all. You're going to have to do a little searching. But Cage, you're buying all these cards, right? Ticket stubs are going through the roof. Tell me that's not kind of cool for a few $100.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, if you're an F1 guy, 100%.
Well, if you're an F1 guy and you're buying Lewis Hamilton cards, right? His Topps Chrome, all that stuff, you're paying way more for a PSA 10 than you would for this.
Yep, definitely. And this is rare, probably.
This is rare. This is his home debut. It says right here, Hamilton F1 home debut. So I'm not saying that don't go buy that other stuff, but I think if you're a Lewis Hamilton collector or an F1 collector, this is something that you want in your collection. Is it not?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know anything really about the racing circuit, but did he race like 6 times off British soil, and this is like his 7th race, and you're trying to find something by making it his home debut? That would be the only question I have. If it's his 2nd race and he raced in Dubai and then the British Grand Prix in home debut, that is pretty awesome. Like I would probably try to look that up. But yeah, man, I mean, it's definitely cool. I mean, he was just knighted, right? So the British debut is a pretty big thing, right? So
1,000%. And you guys out there, so I actually initially was, before we started this episode, I was going to do a soccer play. And I'll still talk a little bit of soccer tomorrow about, like, you know, who I think is trending up, who are some players to look out for. I'll do that maybe tomorrow when we're feeling back 100%. But then I started searching out, because it wasn't you, but someone in our group gave the Lewis Hamilton Verstappen Topps Now card.
Yep.
And you won't believe, so not Overtime, Topps did a cool thing with it. So you couldn't buy parallels, but if you bought enough packs, you might randomly get inserted a teal or red. Or dude, the teal out of 99 is selling for upwards of $1,000 raw.
Yep.
So that was a cool card. Whoever gave the shout out, I think it was M Sizzle from our Discord group. He has a V friend. I remember the kind of the icon, but it got me searching. I was like, what's going to happen with F1 as we start to head into the new year? You know, F1 coming to Miami is actually a little bit before the World Cup. And it reminded me, you gave a 2006, the true Lewis Hamilton rookie. Do you remember what that card was called?
There were a couple of them, right? So there's a Futera one, Futera, Futera, Lewis Hamilton Futera. And then there was, there was Sports Illustrated for Kids, which was like 09. And there was another one too. It was like a red one. I forget what that one, but the Futera is the first one. Futera.
I know we're not sponsored by eBay, but if anyone from eBay is listening, you guys are struggling, man. There's not a lot of good cards on your site anymore.
That Futera one, very hard to find. So I wouldn't. I don't think it'd be on eBay. If you just type in Google Lewis Hamilton Futera, you probably get a picture of it, just because it doesn't come up too often for sale. That was another one. Also, that was the 07, and that's like a shiny one. They have like a refractor version.
It's kind of a cool looking one, right? This looks like a super fractor, but this is limited 10 out of 50. I don't know why this card doesn't get more love, because like you would think this like shiny, this has like the super fractor checkerboard, $400.
Limited racing. If you just type the Lewis Hamilton Futera into Google, it'll pop up also. There it is.
I know, but Cage, last year you couldn't go on eBay and search a card and it wasn't there. So you're still seeing my screen, right? Yep.
It's a cool card. He looks a little different.
He looks way different, man. He's got like this blue steel look to him. It's hilarious. But why can't I mean, he looks like the butler from, is it Mr. Deeds?
Really? Looks like Tatura? Mr. Deeds? The one with the messed up feet? Mr. Deeds has messed up feet. He's got frostbite on his feet. There it is. John Tatura.
Now, that's not a fair comp, but that's what came to my mind, guys. I'm sorry. Actually, iconic movie. Hilarious movie.
Amazing.
All right. Cage, any final words? Take us home.
No, let's see. Is there a score yet in the Georgia game here? I don't think there's
Can I give you a quick update? So there was it was a tuck rule. Guy threw the ball into the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Georgia picked it up, ran it back for a touchdown. They reviewed it. They took it off the board, and now it's 3-0 Alabama.
Wow. Okay. Well, the Heisman Trophy winner, he gets those. He gets those benefit of the doubt. If Bama goes up, it will be very tough for Georgia. Georgia is not built to play from behind here. Georgia. Their quarterback has thrown the ball 40 times or more twice in his career. 40 and 48 times. Those are the only 2 times, both against Bama. He's not built to throw like that. If it's going to be a track meet like that, that's not what that offense is made for. So if Bama gets ahead, Georgia's going to be in trouble.
And that's another episode. We love you, Luka Nation. you started the new year and your resolutions aren't going well, all that stuff, you're not alone. Be patient. It's a long year. Be kind to yourself and get back on it tomorrow. We love you guys. Thank you for all the support. That's it.